Hi everyone, Paul Morbid here of Morbid Team Entertainment. So this is another one of my Fujica Single-8 Z800s. Alright, now it's really in physically, cosmetically great shape. The eye cup over here, a closer look, is nice and rubbery yet firm. Alright. The battery check, I've got batteries in it already. It checks out. Press this up. Find a way to press this. Let's see, there you go. That does well. And really everything works just fine. And again, cosmetically it looks great. Okay. Let me pull this arm out because we try it at different speeds. It's not going to work without pulling the handle out right there. Pull it down for run. There's your little R down there for those of you who don't know. Okay, we've got it at 18. You can hear that moving slowly. Turn it to 24. A little faster, slow motion. Okay, I know I shouldn't do that, but it was just for a second. I don't even shouldn't do for a second. Turn it down to 18, and you can see the spindles moving. Turn this around here. All right, the spindle rather. As I press the shutter button here at my thumb, for those who don't know, there you are. Of course, the pin setting is a sliding pin setting, as you can see. Okay. And we'll close that back up. Now, the only thing that I've found wrong with this is a bit of the exposure. Okay, so when I have the exposure set here to 0, I can turn it around and I can move this, and I have that little red flag moving around. Okay, the only problem is right here is here with the EE lock, the manual. Okay, so at the bottom of the frame inside, when I move this back and forth, as you've seen many times in my videos with a Z800, excuse me, Z800, you know, that little pin should move back and forth at the bottom right there. Well, it's not doing that. Okay, so what I have to do is, of course, show you closer. For those of you who don't know, yet again, you can see in my other videos as well. For a manual EE lock, you pull it straight up and you can adjust and look inside there visually and set it to what you want. Okay, in my other videos I do have EE lock explained as well. I look under here, and of course a little bit of rusted screws. It doesn't seem to be cracked. Of course I have to go in there and check that. Okay, I'm looking around there. It doesn't seem to be broken. What I'm looking at is this little piece right here. This little housing right in there. It does not seem to be cracked, which is good. I do have this repair listed in another video. So for right now, I'll save you from it, because I'll have to go ahead and go in there and check that. All right. But other than that, the camera works well. The zoom is a bit tight. That can need lubrication checked in there. But the beauty of that part is when I do the dismantling here. It's a bit of a pain in the neck, yeah, but it's not as bit of a pain in the neck as a lot of stuff. You know, it's really not. All right, and to those of you who don't know, Single 8 is different from Super 8. Do not ever confuse Single 8 with Super 8. This is Single 8. Notice the cartridge. Notice the inside of this film compartment. Okay. See how it fits in? Look at the film cartridge right here. Look at my finger. All right. And again, to those of you who are just getting into low budget filmmaking and you want to choose Single 8 or Super 8, the beauty of Single 8 is that the film is open right here. It's more importantly that right here is what's called the pressure plate. Okay? And the film goes in between that and the gate in there. All right? And the pressure plate on a Single 8 camera is metal, and it's built into the camera. Okay? And those of us who prefer Single 8 find that the quality is much better. And there are more reasons for that. But not get into a debate about it, really. You can see how it fits in there just like that. All right. Now, Super 8 is here. This is a Super 8 cartridge that I've modified so I can test stuff, but that's what it looks like. Okay. Here is the emulsion side of the film. That's the part that captures your movie. I can pull this up just a bit. And there is the pressure plate right there for those of you who are just getting into this. It's plastic. And behind that is a piece of basically brass, if you will. So it's a leaf spring up under there. And if I press that, you see how that moves, right? Okay. There are people who prefer this version. Come on, wind down in there. Give me a problem. Right when I'm recording a video, huh? There are people who prefer Super 8 and those of us who prefer Single 8, which is this. The reason I'm stressing this so much is that I've seen online one person selling their Single 8 camera when they didn't know and they can't get rid of it. So these cameras can be a hard sell because what you have to do is you have to take the film from the Super 8 and transfer it into the Single 8 cartridge via a film change bag in total darkness. Okay? But you've got to know this pin setting right here, this notch for the different ISOs. Anyway, that's that. But you can see that metal pressure plate. Okay, so the cushion right here, this piece of foam, it looks pretty good, but they all need to be changed like that. I have just got to get in there and repair this manual EE lock, which is a bit depressing. But here's something to know. If you get a camera like this in this model, or another camera where the exposure needle will not move, before you start tearing into it, give it some time. Because a lot of the situations the issue is simply that this camera is vintage, it was made a long time ago, and it can just be dirty. inside there. It could have a little bit of rust around an area, or corrosion, or just be simply dirty. You have some old bugs in there. You can keep moving it around. Be really easy with it. Does it have to be lubricated, re-lubricated? Yes, it does. Okay, it pulls up, then you push it down. All right, let's take a little bit of a situation at another angle. Okay, so for those of you who don't know, and I'll briefly go through the dismantle again. What happens is you got to remove the screws from your lens. You remove this. You remove this and this. Come on. Don't play hard to get with me. All right. So once you got that loose right there, you can take your plate off and stuff like that. I've got everything in the video. And then this is going to have to be removed. Okay? This whole plate right here. Which at this time is wanting to give me a problem. Okay, so I got it free. But anyway, this part down here in the grip, an upper part of the grip, okay, where the shutter button is, it has to be clear. You got to remove the screws and everything there. Again, that's in the video. I can put it in the link. And then you just have to pull this forward, and you get to see that inside of there. Okay. Now, there you are. Just flip it around. Okay. And here is the manual exposure and the EE lock. It's right there. Okay. As a matter of fact, if you look down here at the end of my pencil eraser, right here, you see this little metal piece move back and forth, all right? So when you look through your viewfinder, you should be able to see that needle moving back and forth when you move that manual exposure. All it is just another gear that sits in here with this gear. When you pull up on the EE lock of the manual exposure and engages it. Okay, that's simply all it is. You push it back down, it's on auto. Pull it up, it's manual. All right, you can see exactly how that operates. It could be dirty, so I've got to get in there and see how that's going to follow out. I really do. Could it be cracked or broken? Yeah, you know, but usually it's just dirty. You can get in there and find a bunch of bugs, so watch out. You might find a bunch of cockroaches and stuff like that. It isn't very, very common. And I also want to add, as I always do, it's always best to send your camera to a service technician for repair. And any repairs that you attempt to make to your camera, any mistakes that you make, to your camera, person or persons, are all on you. So my point is, when you go in here, if you attempt to go in here, there are so many small pieces that can fall out. Screws, springs, anything. All right? True. It's also best to know your camera all the way around. But it's best also first, if you're going to watch one of these videos, watch it from front, middle, and to the end. Don't get ahead of yourself. That can lead you to a lot of mistakes. Watch the video over and over again. It's best to become familiar with your own cameras. That is the best thing to do. It's also very best to own more than one camera in your arsenal of cameras. That's what makes a good low-budget filmmaker, or any filmmaker. And there we have it, the Fujica Single-8 Z800. One of the best single-8 cameras out there. It's great for student filmmakers all the way through advanced. You're going to love it. There are so many things you can do with this camera, and including more accessories. that you simply wouldn't believe until you get into the filmmaking. You want to collect all those accessories, use them. You're gonna love them. You really will. So many things you can do with this particular model. It's just really gonna surprise you. It really will. But whatever camera you get and you invest in, learn it inside and out. That is the best thing to do. All right? True, as I stress again, send your camera to a service technician for a new full CLA, clean, lubed, and adjustment. Watch these videos from the front, middle, and to the end before you even attempt, possibly, a repair on your own. And again, as we always say here, as I do any repair you attempt to make to your camera, a camera, any mistakes you make to your camera, a camera, person or persons, in any attempt to make a repair are all on you. All right? Happy filming. Later. And remember, for more videos like these, do subscribe. Until next time, later. Ha!